Hello, my viewers. I'm your host, 5 Minutes of Less Review, back again with another episode of a response video. Now, I know many of you guys have seen the show Smallville by CBS, or I forgot what their name was. I don't know what it is right now. But let me put it like this for you. It's a Smallville show that was created in, I think, 2001. And I've forgotten the name of the producers, basically. But I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. But I just wanted to give a review about the show. Now, it has a couple of stars on there. But that's not the reason why I'm actually, doing this review. The reason why I'm doing this is because I watched this show from the first season all the way to the 8th season or so. And most of the time, yearly, I usually go ahead and watch the show. And this year, when I'm doing my run of the show, I started realizing certain things that I really didn't put any stock on. I just wanted to just watch certain things and then be done with it. Just relive certain highlighted moments of the show and then move on. But during this run, I had a couple of things that I needed to talk to you guys about, basically. I just want to just do a review on it. Now, I know many of you guys want to see maybe the trailer or something on there, but the way YouTube is going with so many little things that they try to, take them on your channel for, I cannot take the risk anymore. So I decided to do it this way. Whereby I just have a simple game playing in the background. They're not going to come out here and accuse me of this or that. And basically, you can see there's no volume, there's no voice, nothing. It's just simply me talking, So that's the main thing. That's very, very important to most people who are, listening to me. So, what did I want to talk about the show? The reason I wanted to talk about the show is because there's a couple of things that I started having problems with. Now, if you guys are still in doubt, though, just understand that this is a show with Tom Wellings, Michael Rosenbaum, Christine Kruak, Erica Durance, and Allison Mack. I don't want you guys to go over there and start, whatever. Let's not go there. But the main thing about it is that we already know it's a show about Superman. And when I started watching the show, I've watched the show several times, but this is the first time that I have to actually give a review. And I know I'm just rambling on for almost 3 minutes. But the main thing about it is this. One of my biggest problems with the show. Number one, Clark Kent is a goody two shoes. I do not like superheroes that are goody two shoes. You see, when the first superhero, when the Superman, listen with I forgot what his name was, the recent Superman, that was a little bit dark, right? That you had Batman in it. Is it Man of Steel? Man of Steel, exactly. When that one came out, to me, there was some representation of what would actually happen if there was a man who could, men like Superman that would come to Earth. People have always had this idea that when the Superman, you can't have destruction, you can't have death, you can have, all kinds of things that are happening in that space where he is. And I keep saying to myself, Superman should have had a training ground. That's number one. Number two, Superman, how would I put it now? Superman should have had a place whereby he could train. That's very important, right? He should have a place where he can train. And Smallville would have been the best place for him to actually have some kind of a realistic approach to what's happening in the real world, where he learns how to minimize the amount of damage he does, where he learns how to restructure people in such a way that they move into certain areas that allows him to do the minimalist form of damage, you know? And for me, it's like this Superman in Smallville, it's like he's trying his best to, how would I say it? He's like, I say, if he can do no wrong. Like, he can't do any wrong. Like, he has to always be on the right side of morality all the time. And for me, that shouldn't be what he is. He's supposed to be a person that plays with, both sides, and then begins to understand which side he really falls on to become the Superman that we know. To be somebody who stands for justice for all, right? Like, he has to at least play with something for him to really understand it. You can't just stand on one ground because your father said so, or because that's your home upbringing, and then boom, you carry it over to the other one. And that's one thing I really hate about the show, is that he's just filled with that so-called niceness, Mr. Good, and that it does not rock with me. It does not rock with me. A man has to deal with both sides of, a lot of situations, and in so doing, learns to stand on his own feet, on what he believes in. This show doesn't really give you that. It just gives you a man who believes that everything should be a certain way, and at the end of the day, it works for him because it's a certain way. It shouldn't be, So that's one of my pet peeves with this show. The second part is, he also expects everybody to give him their own secrets, tell him about their own secrets, but he's refusing also to share his own secrets with certain people. That to me cannot work for me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he goes around, points the finger at people who are keeping secrets, telling them they have no right to keep secrets, while he himself is holding the biggest secret of them all. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really annoys me. You have no right to invade other people's privacy. Like, Lex's privacy has been invaded on several occasions where he just walks in there. He knows him and this person are not friends, but he thinks he has a right to walk in there and just demand that this be done and that be done, like as if he owns the place or he owns Lex. It's just ridiculous. And that's the annoying part of the whole show. Really ridiculous. That this guy thinks he has a right. That's one of my biggest, that's a pet peeve of mine. Another thing again that pisses me off, I mean, they kind of like brought it full circle, during the 4th season. But the main thing is that they keep teasing this so-called Clark and Lana relationship nonsense. Lana Lane. They keep teasing it. And I got real fed up of the whole nonsense. Personally, I would have taken Chloe over Lana Lane. Why? Because I'm a man. I know when a woman loves you, she shows you respect, she cares about you. Like, Chloe was everything that Clark needed. Plus his sidekick, man, for crying out loud. Man, that's a perfect woman. Chloe Sullivan in the show. She was the perfect sidekick for him. Perfect sidekick, perfect girlfriend, everything. Forget about the story about Lois Lane and all that whole stuff. We already know him and Lois Lane end up meeting in Annapolis or whatever it is, or Metropolis, right? That's where they met. Or they met maybe in high school or in maybe somewhere in between. But then they finally meet in the Daily Planet. We already know this story. Why not leave him with somebody who really deserves him? And that was Chloe. Chloe really deserves him as a girlfriend. And basically it makes even more sense why he decides to choose journalism. He had a girlfriend that was good at it. He has a girlfriend that, that basically helped guide him into the situation, who had a natural knack for it. And he just kind of gradually entered into it. It made sense. Chloe Sullivan would have been his woman, not Lana Lane. You know? Not Lana Lane. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then, one of the biggest killers in the whole show for me, like, he killed everything for me, he just killed it, was that this fool of a Clark Kent will walk into places where there's kryptonite. I mean, the guy who is sensitive to kryptonite should be able to sense it a mile away. Okay, let's just say we don't sense it a mile away. Okay, fine, no problem. But you have so much super speed that you're able to look at everything. No, you're able to look at everything before you walk into a hot zone. Like, you have so much speed, you have time to walk into a hot zone. And what does he do? Oh no, he doesn't even check before he leaps. You know, he doesn't even check before he leaps. Oh no, he just jumps into the situation, and then kryptonite is right there, just conveniently placed for this guy to fall apart. Now, let me put it like this for you. This guy has super speed. Yes? That means he has the ability to push people out of the way and at the same time move quickly to get out of the scene. So his face doesn't get seen or noticed or anything like that. He has speed that nobody can actually see his face. But this fool, he goes and he stops right in the middle of everything so that people can see his face. You know? Like, you have so much speed that you can take a second to get out of the way of anything. A second, or even 2 seconds, or even 3 seconds is more than enough for him to get out of the way of so many things. But no, this idiot, he just walks right into it. And then when he saves somebody, he goes there and says, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" My friend, listen, you gotta finish your supper. Finish your supper before you try to start looking at this and that. Oh no, not this guy. He goes ahead and starts asking somebody, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Giving enough time for somebody to put kryptonite right in front of him so that he can get weak. And boom, the plot goes on as it was intended. There's so many places in which you could have tricked Clark Kent into a kryptonite. There's so many ways you could have done it. Maybe he blasts something and the kryptonite fell out of it. You know, or he blasts something maybe out of this place. You know, it's just something he does stupidly. He doesn't even know, and there's kryptonite behind the wall, or maybe there's kryptonite, on the floor, and he breaks it in an attempt to help, and then boom, he's met with kryptonite. Because in certain materials, maybe the other kryptonite, in order to help, to strengthen the bond in that material, he doesn't know. He hits it, and then boom, it happens. Yeah, there's so many ways you could have done this, but they mess it up. Or maybe he's busy testing out maybe a new product, or somebody was trying to spray mace him or something like that, and he's thinking, "Oh, this one won't touch me," and then boom, he breathes in kryptonite and gets weakened by it. That's the thing I still don't understand. I still do not understand it. But anyway, it's neither here or there. Overall, I wish the story was a little bit better in the way they wrote the story. I just wish it was, but unfortunately, there's just so many plot holes, so many issues that I wanted to make sure that they addressed. I would have loved for them to have addressed it, but it's too late for that now. What else again? Jor-El. In this show, they made Jor-El into the bad guy. Why would a dead man continue to plague Clark's life? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Maybe if you told me that there was an official AI that was created by Jor-El in order to help guide his son, maybe it was partially corrupted, or basically it lacked the understanding of what was happening in the world, or maybe there was a part in which Jor-El coded incorrectly or something like that, for him to be able to have access to his son, stuff like that. That just, like, there's no way a living human being will sit down there and just, okay, let's just assume, okay, he programmed himself for his consciousness to enter into a crystal. Okay, fine. okay, let's move it like that. Maybe program himself. If it's even possible. If it's even possible. Let's just, okay, assume so. How is it that he would have control over Clark's life? How does a dying planet seek to go and conquer another planet? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would they do so? When you know that the main thing why Jor-El was trying to save his own planet was because his people were not listening to him. We're talking about the final crumbling of their own planet. And for me personally, if I were to rewrite the story, I would have simply said they were cracking their planet. Maybe they were trying to get minerals for their planet in order to maybe fight invaders off. You know, there was a lot of drill baby. You know, let's go. Let's get this money and make ammunition, or make this money to get fuel in order for us to do certain things. We know that kryptonite have certain abilities that it gives, right? Certain properties that it has been used. You know, in the so-called Smallville universe, we know that it has so many properties that it could be used for. You know, machinery, weaponry. You know, gas. You know, all this, the many properties that a lot of human beings were still trying to crack the surface of. And here you have the Krypton people already mining this thing in order to fight a war. They were at the brink of destruction during this whole process of mining and trying to put away, you know, maybe the invaders or something like that, and you know, and things were happening then, causing them to overmine, putting their planet at risk, making sure that, okay, so if there was a simple catastrophic event that may hit the planet, maybe on normal occasions it would have been normal, but in this situation, because they had so much mined certain things of their own planet in order to fight off whatever was coming at them, would have left their planet in a vulnerable position that led to the destruction of it. And here was Jor-El maybe trying to, you know, warn his people of it, and then you have something like Brainiac, who basically saw that, okay, maybe because of Brainiac's own programming, he decides, okay, you know what, in order for me to protect the people must first of all die so that I can have a smaller volume for me to be able to protect. And he was trying to make sure that, to a certain degree, the Kryptonian people will not even sense that he's stealing some of their own people, in order to make sure that he protects the people in a smaller area, while at the same time allow maybe the whole populace to die, so that way he can have full control over the people. I mean, you never know what the story can be. It would have been a great story, I think so. But sometimes in Hollywood, you know, people's brains don't really work well. It's quite unfortunate that you see some of these things. But anyway, I'm just rambling here, but you know what I'm saying, you know. But anyway, guys, that's just my 2 cents on this Smallville situation. Many of my videos are not like seriously, like, you know, a situation whereby I'm just coming. I mean, how do I put it now? It's not well formatted, I would say. But for me, is when it comes to shows or movies or whatever it is, I try to just speak from the hip, because if I sit down and start writing things down, it could go on for ages, and I don't want to do that for myself, you know. I just want to just come here, click the button, get on a hot mic, and just speak just from the hip. All right, guys, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next episode of, you know, 5 minutes or less. I know many of my videos are no longer 5 minutes or less, but I have decided that this new format actually helps with the views. So as a result of that, I usually go for those. So, all right, guys, it's been real. I'll see you guys on the next episode.